There's so much pressure on our teenagers nowadays to go to college, go to college, go to college. But today I'm going to chat with one of my favorite kiddos that I happen to birth myself about why him and his friends are going the route of the blue collar community instead. Sometimes life just sucks, and sometimes it freaking rocks. We will discuss all the things from family and real estate to travel and just life in general. So take a seat, or don't, you do you, and welcome to the Lumbadass Podcast. Hi, Bubba.
Hello.
How are you?
Good.
I was so glad that you... Okay, first of all, I have to tell everybody, you tried to get out of coming today and was like, I have work. And I was like, bro, we are going to be done well before you have to go to work.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I appreciate you. And you didn't get home until late last night either. Did you guys have fun last night?
Yeah.
You had a bonfire?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So you have not been on the podcast in a minute. So I wanted to bring you back. You look a little different.
Yeah.
What did you do?
I shaved my head and bleached it with Andrew.
Why did you do that?
Summer.
Summer. I love it. Now, does summer really matter? Because, okay, you've been graduated for over a year now.
Mm-hmm.
So is summer really a thing with you guys or not really?
I mean, not really. It's kind of weird.
Because you guys, how many of your like group, how many of you guys go to college?
Well, most of us are blue collar.
Yes.
So most of them already have like
Trades.
Trades set up.
Uh-huh.
And some are already working in them.
What are some of your friends doing? Because I think this is super important because everybody talks about their kids going to college and all these things and stuff. And we always knew that, you were going to probably go either a trade or firefighter. And it's funny because we kept trying to convince Jared to go into like automotive because Jared is so good with his hands. Like this child, I'm like, Bubba, can you fix this for me? Like I will ask you before I even ask Dad because you're very handy. And I like to say you get that from my side of the family because don't come at me, people. My grandfather was famous back in the 50s and 60s for his custom car culture. My dad is the youngest of 5 boys, and my grandfather, for those of you who don't know, is Ed Big Daddy Roth. And so what he did was he created Mickey Mouse's alter ego and built custom cars around that. And so he did like the cars for the Munster family and stuff like that. So I tell you that story because I really do feel like out of all of my children, Jared really got the brunt of that creativity. So I'm so excited for you. And I know that you shot down many times being like a car mechanic. You were like, I'm not going to do that. I want to be a firefighter.
Yeah.
Why firefighter over a car mechanic?
They make way more money.
Okay, so it was just logistics then.
Yeah, because I can go on YouTube and I can learn whatever, like anything about cars, but I can't go and fight fires and make the money I'll be making as a mechanic.
Money, and you'll also have hopefully good retirement and stuff like that too, and great hours, right?
Oh, insane hours.
And it's cool too because I was even talking to Dad and I was like, Jared could be like a mechanic on the trucks even. And Dad was like, they have those. He could totally be, an engineer, I think is who does that. Okay. So I just thought that was such a great avenue. So did you feel when you were in high school like there was a lot of pressure to go to college?
I feel like there's a lot of pressure put on the schools making sure that you are aware that college is an option.
Okay.
But there's a lot of classes, when I took construction class, that class was very like, hey, you don't have to go to college.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were always shoving it down your throat that like college is a must. Like, no, like you can make better money as blue collar, given, of course, you won't make the same money, let's say, as a doctor to a fireman, but
sure,
you'll make pretty freaking close. And with less schooling and less debts to pay,
mm-hmm.
you'll be making more in the long term than it will be on numbers.
That makes me so proud because, when you were little and you were going to OPA, so Jared used to go to a charter school, Oxford Preparatory. They're no longer around, but when they were, they were very geared towards college. And where are you going to college? And each class had its own college. And, they would wear their college shirts on Friday and stuff like that. It was such a cute idea. Like, I actually really enjoyed it. But they really, truly did not embrace the idea of, somebody who's just going to go and I say just very loosely, but who's going to go and get their AA or their AS and then go into fire science or go into whatever it is. And it's hard because, Dad didn't go to college. I mean, some college, and I just went to school to get my real estate license, but, we both do fairly well. So it's really difficult as a parent to be like, you have to go to college. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially if college isn't your thing and school is not your thing. I mean, you can get through the classes and do what you need to do. You know what needs to be done, but you'd rather be out working with your hands.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what a lot of your friends are doing as well?
Yeah, well, they kind of were, they were more guided into that by either their parents or something.
Guided into what?
because-
I'm sorry. Guided into what?
Like for instance, Andrew. Andrew loves to weld. He loves working on his bug. He loves doing all that. So he went and got all of his certificates, all his certs, and then he went and works for SpaceX.
Uh-huh.
And that's what he loves doing.
And he makes great money working for SpaceX at 19 years old.
Yeah, at 19 years old, he's making 6 figures.
That's amazing. What are some other things that your other friends are doing?
I have people becoming electricians. I have Tyler who wants to become a lineman, so he's going to lineman school soon. Adam does HVAC, does HVAC, so he's up in attics right now doing his apprenticeship, and then he's actually going up to Utah to become a general contractor and a real estate agent too.
Really?
Yes.
How the heck is he going to pull all that off?
Well, he's moving to Utah at the end of this year.
Who is this?
Adam?
Oh, that's so sad. Red Truck Adam?
Yeah, the Silverado.
I like him. He's a good kid.
Yeah, so he's going up there to get his general contractor's license and then his real estate license in Utah, and he's going to sell houses in Utah, and then he's going to get it here, and he's going to build houses here.
Okay. We'll see. And it's easier, just from my experience, it's easier. I'll have to tell him this when I see him. It's easier to do that like in Utah where they have pieces of land, like parcels of land that you can build on and stuff like that. That's very common. Another place that they do that in is Texas. I actually have a girlfriend right now who's selling her house, bought a piece of land and is, building it. You don't see that too much in California just because the cost of things is so astronomical that it's really hard. I mean, every once in a while you do, but what a great opportunity for them to get into something. So the pressure of college wasn't something that you guys necessarily felt.
No, we never felt like college was like, we have to go to college. It was like, hey, yeah, college is cool. There's parties, there's all that stuff. But for a lot of us, we're more focused on getting our trucks built, having a house. We don't care about parties. We can always go out, and I say this when it's legal, but we can always go out and we
Sure.
could always drink, and we could always just hang out at the house, or even like for us, like a good night isn't partying. It's like getting our trucks lined up in a parking lot and just talking and having a good time.
Why do you think that is for you guys? Like, why do you think that you guys pick to do those things instead of going out and partying? Because most kids your ages are like I don't want to say kids, you're a man, but most people your age are out there partying, going to raves, doing all those things. Like, and you've done it, like you've been in the mix with them too. Like, what makes you not about that anymore?
I think it's just their mindsets,
Yeah,
different mindsets. Given when they're out of 4-year,
sure.
and have nothing else to do. Like there are some that have apprenticeships and they get paid, but that's very rare, at least from what I've seen. When you're going to college for 4 years and you have nothing else to do but study and party, I get it. But when you're outside of high school and you're not going to college, like some people I know, and they're just partying, and it's like, dude, you're going to work at a restaurant for the next 6 years trying to repay your car you just bought.
Right.
And you're still going to be buying weed and going to these parties. Like, it's pointless.
Well, and nothing wrong with that, by the way, if anybody else is doing that, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just not for you. And and good. And I also, I've also told you guys many times, like, hey, the decisions that you guys make, they have consequences, and good or bad, it doesn't matter. Any decision that you make has consequences. So the fact that you guys are like, hey, we want to buy property and we want to do these things. And, what makes you though, what sets you apart, I guess, or what makes you have that mentality over, because to me, so like when Jacob was in school, Jacob, my oldest, by the way, for those of you who don't know, when he was in school, like during the summer, he did an internship at Monster Energy, and they paid him to do that. So like he was always doing, I guess, the next step to better himself. But there are just some kids that just want to go to school and party. Do you think that has to do with their parents kind of reining them in a lot when they were younger? Not letting them do things?
I feel like there's definitely like a helicopter parent like perspective put on some kids where it's like you can look at them at a party and be like, that kid was helicoptered as a kid. Like
Really?
always had someone over his shoulder. Like it was always his
Even
parents.
at 19, you can see that.
Yeah.
Really?
And like it's funny because I can tell like even in some adults that it just never leaves.
Really?
Like they always have that look of like, oh shit, what if my mom walks in the room?
That's crazy. And it's funny because, as you guys get older, I'm really doing the best that I can to be like, hey, like you're an adult now. Like whatever stupid choices you make and stuff like that, like that's on you. Are there consequences? Yes. Like I've told you plenty of times before, but at the end of the day, and it's funny, I was actually telling Nicole, when my kids make stupid choices, like I don't wear that. Like that's not my cross to bear. Like that's on you. And do you remember when you were 16 years old? You were about to drive away in your car and I said, Baba, I like ran out after you. And I was like, hey, I want to tell you something. Your decisions are yours and yours only. So when you do something stupid, because it's going to happen. When you do something stupid, I'm still going to love the hell out of you. And my friends can sit here and be like, oh, your kid's an idiot. Oh, okay, really? Like, eat shit and die. I don't care what you think of my kid. Like, I'm always going to love him. So, you know, I'm grateful because we're all living this life for the first time, right? I've told you that before too.
Yeah.
And yeah, I have a little bit more experience because I'm older, but at the end of the day, like, I have to let you go through the punches and go through all these things. And what's good for you, like when I was 19, if you asked me to work on a car, I would be like, that sounds like hell on earth. And you will sit outside with Adam or Lucas or whoever, and you guys will work on your cars all day. And I was talking to Adam about this, and he was like, yeah, Mrs. Lombatis, you know, it's better that we're sitting here working on cars and out there causing trouble and doing this. And I thought, you know what? That's such great perspective from a 19-year-old. He's right. I would much rather you be working on your car than out there partying. Not to say you don't get your fair share of partying in though either.
Yeah.
Yes. I need you to though, because the truth of the matter is if you don't party within reason, then when you fully can, like, you're just going to go balls to the wall and go crazy. So it's all about moderation, I think. I don't know. It's now your parties, as far as parties go, now that you're older and you're not in high school and stuff like that, like, who has these parties? Where do you guys go? How does that all work out? Or what's your definition of a party?
Party, I mean, definition, I would just say, is a group of people either at a house or somewhere that they rented out and just having music, drinks, a good time.
Okay. That would be my definition of a party too. So it's just hanging out, kicking back. We used to call that when I was in high school, kickback. Hey, we're going to go kick back at so-and-so's house. And then whatever, whoever drank, and whoever wanted to, I was always making food for everybody. Isn't that very indicative of who I am? But I'm grateful for that. So moving forward, what are your plans? What do you got over the next year? If I don't see you again for another year on this podcast, where can we expect you to be next year? What's your goals?
I'd say this time next year, I'd be graduated with my fire academy.
Okay, you're going to graduate fire academy? Uh-huh.
My, I'd say my truck be close to where I'd want it.
Okay.
Because right now it blows white smoke. My shocks are blown out. I have a cracked windshield. My headliner's destroyed. My seats rock when I move.
But tell me all the good things that you've done.
We replaced spark plugs and spark plug wires. We've
like all on his own.
the
He did that on his own.
We've cleaned the oil, changed the oil. I fixed my tailgate. We fixed the rear door.
You fixed your windows.
Yeah, I put new window actuators in. Or I put a window actuator in on my passenger side. I need to fix the driver's side now.
Did you say you tinted the windows? Sorry,
I did not. We're still working on that because Adam's getting his he's getting new tint. So before it was just tinted like film. Mm-hmm. He's getting the one that I'm forgetting the name, but he's getting the one where it blocks heat too.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, we'll get that on the truck soon, and then we're doing the whole truck except the windshield, and then soon I want to.
You did the lights too.
Oh yeah, we got GG LED lights.
Yeah,
those. And those are nice.
And then you're gonna get it painted.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking of getting it wrapped. So I might sand it down and just do a matte gray all across, and then or primer matte gray and then wrap it red. And then I have a buddy at Ultra Wheels who I'm trying to get a pair of X101 bead locks, which are like pro comp wheels.
Okay.
On 35-inch tires.
That would look sweet. Because right now you have 17s, right?
Yeah, I'm just on 17-inch tires on 17-inch rims.
Shout out to Papa for giving him tires.
Yeah. The other ones look like race wheels.
Yes, they did. They were like all slick, and David's dad was like, no, we're not. This is not going to fly. So that's awesome. Okay, so you want your truck done. You want to be graduated from the fire academy, pass your EMT course. You already passed your EMT course. You passed with a 98%, by the way. That is huge. That is very difficult to do, and you freaking rocked it. So great job there. But now you have to pass the test for
the National Registry.
Okay, the National Registry.
So that'd be the state test.
Oh, okay.
So once I pass the state test, then I'm good to go work for any medical companies like AMR or Falk, which I want to try to do Falk because they're in San Bernardino County and LA County.
Okay.
Or sorry, they're not in San Bernardino. AMR is in San Bernardino.
Oh, okay.
But LA County is Falk.
And you'll have more calls in LA County. Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought so. I was trying to read between lines. Yeah, you've done 2 write-outs and you've had some gunshot wounds and stuff like that you've had to take care of, huh?
Yeah, I've had some pretty crazy things.
That's cool. I'm really excited for you, and I think that'll keep you busy and all the things. Oh, and then when do you plan on getting hired on with a fire department? Like, what would be your goal?
I'd say by the next time we meet up, I'll be going through interviews.
Oh, okay. That's very audacious, and I'm super excited for those goals for you. That's awesome.
If not sooner, if I do any. So if I, instead of doing an academy, most times most departments will have an academy for you to do in case you don't have one. So for instance, one I want to work at, Ontario has an academy because they're opening, I think, 3 new stations and they need recruits.
Yeah, they do really bad.
So they're throwing out open academies, and all you need is to be standing, breathing, and have your EMT card.
And you have to graduate from high school.
Yes.
You have to be 18 and graduate from high school. Your EMT card. Do you have your EMT card, or you'll get that when you pass the National Registry?
When I pass the NREMT, I will.
Oh, okay. So right on. So you could just almost walk in there and be like, I'm ready. I'm here for you.
Yeah, and then from then I want to become a fire paramedic.
Okay.
So I'd have to get 900. I believe it's a lot of hours. I'm not. I don't want to put a number on it.
Okay.
But I have to get enough.
But like
hours.
upwards of like 900 hours?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And then
900 hours of doing what?
just going on calls.
Oh, okay.
Going on calls, being on shift.
Work hours.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
shit.
then from
Okay.
there, that's just the hours to get into the school.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can't apply to the school unless you have those hours.
And then you'll apply to the school and you'll become a paramedic.
Yes.
Understood. And then you want to really work at Ontario. That's kind of been your goal for a while.
Yeah, close to home, not far from the beach. It's perfect.
Yeah, that is perfect. If you had, this will be my last question. If you had one piece of advice for somebody who was very similar to you, going through school, you know, the trials and the tribulations that you went through, you know how many times we yelled and screamed at you to get shit done and all the things, like what piece of advice would you give to that person?
I'd have 2.
Okay.
So if you're in a relationship, make sure your partner knows what your goals are and what you need to do to get there and what it's going to sacrifice.
Why?
Because it's going to suck. It's going to be a pain in the ass especially with fire. You're going to be dedicating a lot of time, a lot of hours to academy. Academy by itself is day and night. You're there at the school. If you're doing an academy at a school, you're there from the morning, from 0800 lineup to either, I don't know what time your line ends or your day ends, but till then.
Okay.
And most of the time it's sundown and you're driving back tired and you're going to want to hang out.
And then you have to do it all over again the next day.
And you're going to have to study after that day for the next day. And it's going to suck. Same thing with EMT. You're going to be I was head in a book, not my first 2 times because I was off doing other things with my, at the time, girlfriend.
Yeah.
And now
Because your priorities weren't straight.
Yeah.
But it happens, Bubba. It happens to everybody.
Yeah. And that's the one thing is make sure your priorities are straight. Make sure your partner knows what your priorities are. And know that you both are working towards either a same thing of where you guys both want to be together in the end of this, or if it's something where you're going to have to split off.
Yeah. And I think that just comes with growing as you get older. I've always told you, if you are not the person for the person that you're with, or she is not the person for you, I don't want you guys together. Like, I love you both. I want you guys to be with whoever is the person that you're supposed to be with, And I agree with you on that. Do you think that if you are with somebody special, that like you guys could also encourage and like prop one another up and root each other on? Or you think it's more important that you just know, hey, these are the goals, these are the expectations, this is what I have to do because I see us here at the end?
I think both could be an option for whoever it may fit.
Okay.
If the shoe fits you in that situation, then wear the shoe. If it doesn't, then try on the other one.
I like it.
Maybe because that one works better.
I like that a lot. Okay, so you said you had 2. So if you have somebody and you're in a relationship, make sure that you guys are on the same page. What would be the other thing if you had to give a piece of advice to somebody who maybe doesn't want to go through college, they would rather work, blue collar and work with their hands? What advice would you give them?
So if you want to do blue collar, regardless, you're going to go through school.
Okay.
It may not be called a college. Mine was. For fire science, I had to go through a college and I had to get my AA. I had to take my classes. Yeah, you're going to have to go through some type of schooling, whether it's college or not. But whatever you do, stick your head down, put it in a book, get it fucking done.
Yeah.
Don't do it a second time because it sucks.
It does.
And trust me, I've done it. I did EMT 3 times. It fucking sucked every time.
And that's the thing is it does. It sucks every time. But like you said, when you just put your nose in the book and then you do it. But again, Jared, that's part of growing up. So be it if it takes you 3 times. Like, it is what it is. You passed that last class with a 98%. Are you joking me? Like, what worked for you was taking it 3 times. It is what it is. Not everybody gets through the first time around. So I think that's really sound advice. So thank you for meeting me here last minute.
Yeah, of course.
I love you. Thank you for doing this.
Love you too.